Hello and namaskar and welcome to our live interaction session and you are watching PM eVidya channel. आज हम आपके लिए लाए हैं क्लास 4 का इंग्लिश का चैप्टर होमोफोन्स and for this we have our guest and our expert Mrs. Kalpana Manwal. She is JPF DEE NCERT. Hello ma'am, a very good afternoon.
Good afternoon, thanks for having me.
Before beginning with the session, let me please introduce our students that if you have any query or any question, you can call us on the number flashing on your screen, that is 8800440559, and you can also mail your queries or your questions on dth.class4@ciet.nic.in. And you can watch the live coverage on PM eVidya channel number 4 and join us on the official YouTube channel of NCERT official. Students, if you have any queries, you can also come to the YouTube live chat and post your question on the YouTube. So ma'am, the chapter is homophones. What do learners need to know about the term?
So homophones is quite a new term for class 4 learners. And but they don't need to worry about it because these words that we're going to discuss in today's session are totally what they have been using since class 1, and they have used these words in writing, in speaking, when they are reading a text. But there is a reason why we have decided to label certain words as homophones, and the reason is very clear from the title itself, homophones, which I'm going to tell in just a few seconds. So, learners, please pay attention to this term, homophones. When we look at this term, you can see as on your screen, we have homophone. The first part says same, the other part says sound. So, these are the words which sound similar, which sound same. And when I'm saying sound, it means when I hear these words, so they sound same to me. But it doesn't mean that these words are exactly same. They differ in spellings, they differ in their meanings. So whenever you come across the term homophone, just pay attention on this part phone and associate it to listening to a phone. Like when we pick up a phone, we listen to the person who is on the other side and we listen. We pay attention to what is being said. We don't have anything written in front of us. We don't have any spellings said out to us. We just listen what is being said to us. So similarly, in these words, we pay attention. We are focusing on the property of the sound, that is how these words sound, although they are very different. So learners, on your screen, you have 3 pairs of homophones. And these words, I'm quite sure you are aware that these are very familiar words. You have read these words a number of times. So the first pair we have, it is 2, 2. So the first 2 is spelled as TWO, the other one is spelled as TO. But if I take away this spelling from you, if I take away the words from your screen and just simply say 2, you can't tell which 2 I'm referring to. See, this is because we are listening to the sound. The other pair we have is tail, tail. Here, the first tail is spelled as TAIL, whereas the other one is spelled as TALE. We will look at the difference of the words which are given in these pairs in next slide in a few seconds. But let's pay attention to the third pair, which is quite interesting, and you will know why it is interesting. The first word is red, the other one is red. Now, the first one is spelled as READ. The other one is RED, and which you all know is a color. But now I'm quite sure some of you are wondering, why did I pronounce the first letter, the first combination of READ as red and not as read, which you are familiar with is an act of reading, like I'm reading a book, I'm reading a newspaper. There you must have come across this term. So, but because it's a verb and read is the past form of the word read, that's why I said read, read. That's why I picked up the combination, and the term read is also spelled as read. That's why some of you, if you got confused, now you have clarity, the difference between the two. One, read refers to the past tense of the verb read. Past form of the verb read. Now, we will take a look at some sentences that how we can use these homophone pairs in different contexts, in different situations. Let's take a look. So the first sentence says, he gifted 2 books to his sister. Now kids, please pay attention. He gifted 2 books to his sister. Now I can hear 2 twice in this sentence, right? 2 books to his sister. But when I pay attention to the spelling and to meaning as well, the first one is spelled as TWO, 2, and which tells me the number of books. The other 2, to his sister, is a preposition which tells me that the books were given to the sister. So these 2 words, although when I hear them, they sound exactly same, but are totally different when I read them in different sentences in different contexts. Similarly, the second sentence says, yesterday I read a book with a red cover. Yesterday I read a book with a red cover. Now this sentence tells me that sometime last day I read a book which was red in color, which had a red cover. Now, if you're wondering, what was the part in this sentence which told me to use the word read and not read, which told me that the word read was to be used here and not read? So, pay attention to this part. Yesterday. Yesterday. This part is telling me that this event, that this action happened sometime in the past and is not an event of present. So, because it happened in past, that's why I have to use the form of verb which is related to past tense. That's why I used read and I didn't use read here. So yesterday is very important here. It's telling me which form to use in this sentence. So yesterday I read a book with a red cover. So we saw another homophone pair here, red and red. Now the third one. The third one we have is tail, tail. Have you heard the tale of the rat without a tail? Have you heard the tale of the rat without a tail? So what is this telling me? The first tale means a type of story. Tale is a type of story. And what story is this about? The story is about a rat which does not have a tail, which is quite interesting because the rats that you and I have seen around us, those rats, they have tails, but this is a special rat with no tail. And tail, you all know, is present in many animals. It's at their rear end. So you all know what tails are. You have seen dogs with tails, bushy tails, spiky tails, long tails, short tails. So this tail refers to that part which is present at the rear end of the animals, of many animals, not all. And the first tail which is in red here, T-A-L-E, means a story. So we are talking about a story which is about a tailless rat. Right, so I hope you are clear, you have some idea what homophones are and how we use them, how they are present around us, how these are such common words, such normal words which we have around us. But if we pay attention, they have a very unique property.
Kalpana ma'am, I have one question here.
Yes.
Ma'am, you have shared some examples with our learners, but in what other form can we expect homophones?
Yes, it is a very interesting question because the example as I just shared, here what we did was I simply put two homophones, like 2 words which were a part of a pair, which were from a pair. But we often get examples, students, you will often come across activities where you will have to make a decision. You will have to select a word from a pair of homophones. And for that, you really need to pay attention what is being said to you, what is being given to you. Because if you don't pay attention, you will end up making mistakes. So the next activity that we are going to do is related to this thing only, where what we will do is we will read a poem and we will complete a poem by selecting the right word from the pair of homophones given to us. So we will select a word, we will have 2 words, and from those 2 words we will pick the right one. So kids, I hope you are ready. Just pay attention. I will help you. I am here with you. So this poem is from your textbook NCERT, from your Marigold textbook, class 4 NCERT. And this poem, its title is The Man in an Onion Bed. Now, before I begin this poem, let me make some things clear to you. What we are going to do. So as you can see that there are some lines on your screen, and you can see that we have two options everywhere. So we will select one option and we will complete this poem. And I want you to remember one thing, that this onion bed doesn't mean that the bed is made up of onions. This bed refers to a part in garden or park which you must have seen, where people grow something, like you grow vegetables or flowers. So you must have heard the term flower bed, where you grow in a small section, you grow some flowers, right? Similarly, people also grow vegetables. So this bed refers to that part and not the bed you have at your home. So I hope you all are ready, because we are going to complete this poem with your help. I met a man in an onion bed. So our poet, he met a man who was in an onion bed. He was crying so hard, his eyes were red. Now pay attention, I have 2 spellings with me and both are pronounced as red. So which one to choose? He was crying so hard, his eyes were red. Now I know that when somebody cries, what happens? Our eyes get puffy and swollen, we get sad, and when there is excessive crying, what happens? That there is redness in eyes, right? So this here, we want to refer to that redness, we want to refer to that red color. So I know that the right word for this sentence is red, that is R-E-D. He was crying so hard, his eyes were red. So I picked the right word, I selected the right word according to the sentence. And the tears rolled off the end of his nose. Now we know that the man was crying. And why he was crying? Because he was in an onion bed. And we know because of the smell of the onion, it often affects us eyes. No? We start crying, tears start rolling down our eyes. So what happened? And the tears rolled off the end of his nose. And because he was crying, tears started rolling down. Now, if you pay attention, we have 2 spellings here again, T-E-A-R-S, tears, and T-I-E-R-S. So, and both are pronounced same, tears, tears, right? The first tears refer to the liquid that comes out of one's eyes when one is crying, right? It is that tears. And I know that because this person is crying, so this tears is what fits in this sentence. So I will pick this word and I will complete my line. And the tears rolled off the end of his nose. As he ate his way down the onion rows. Now, in this line, I have 2 homophone pairs. The first one is ate and ate, where I have spellings A-T-E and E-I-G-H-T, and both are pronounced the same way, ate. As he ate his way. Now, I can tell that there is no use of the number 8 in this line. It's quite useless. And I'm assuming, well, it's very weird to eat these many onions. But what I'm going to pick is, I'm going to pick 8, because it is the past form of the verb eat. So it is a possibility that the man started eating the onion. So he ate his way down the onion rows. Again, I have 2 spellings of rows, R-O-W-S, and ROSE. Now, I'm quite sure that you know the meaning of both of these words. The word rose, you know, it's the name of a flower which comes in different colors, but we have mostly seen it in the color red. The other rows means arrangement of things in a line. Things, objects, or even people. Like in your assembly, you stand in rows, right? So you stand in a straight line. So it's a sequence, it's a line. So because it's an onion bed, so he arranged his onions in a line, in a row. That's what makes, so this information helps me to choose the right word. So the right sentence, the right choice of words for this sentence is, as he ate his way, ATE, down the onion row, ROWS. As he ate his way down the onion row. He ate and he cried, but for all his tears. So he ate and he cried, but for all his tears. Now you are familiar with both these homophone pairs, right? We discussed ate, and we discussed tears and tears. So I'm quite sure that you can pick the right word without me discussing this part with you. So the right choice of words for this line is, he ate, ATE, and he cried, but for all his tears. So he ate and he kept crying. He kept eating onions and he kept crying because of the smell. But for all his tears, he sang, sweet onions, oh my dears. So he kept crying and he kept eating onion and tears kept rolling down his face. But despite all of that, he just sang, sweet onions, oh my dears. Like we exclaim, no? Oh dear, oh my God, you must have read these exclamatory phrases in your books or from your teachers, you must have heard these phrases. He sang, sweet onions, oh my dears. We have two spellings again here. We have a homophone pair, dears and dears. So you can tell me which word means an animal, D-E-E-R or D-E-A-R. So I want you to guess which word refers to the animal deer and which one doesn't. So the right sentence for this one is, sweet onions, oh my dears. The other one refers to the animals. He sang, sweet onions, oh my dears. I love you, I do, and you love me. But you make me as sad as a man can be. So he said that, onions, I love you, I like your taste, but you make me sad. And why did he say so? Because the taste of the onions was making him cry. The smell of the onions was making him cry. Now, kids, like you helped me with this poem, just what we are going to do is, we are going to read this poem, and now, without any omission, without any blank, we are going to read this poem in its entirety. So, let's take a look. So, we have our poem, The Man in an Onion Bed. I met a man in an onion bed. He was crying so hard, his eyes were red, and the tears rolled off the end of his nose as he ate his way down the onion rows. He ate and he cried, but for all his tears he sang, sweet onions, oh my dears, I love you, I do, and you love me, but you make me as sad as a man can be. So this was a poem. I hope you all enjoyed this activity. And kids, if you are getting afraid of homophones, you don't need to be, because these words are quite common. So you will get more familiar to these words in next class as well. So just enjoy this activity and this session.
Kalpana ma'am, it is now clear that paying attention will only make you choose the right word. But yes, how important it is to keep learning new words when it comes to homophones?
Yes, like we just saw that there were words which were spelled which were spelled, which had, when we hear these words, they sound exactly same. But when we look at the spellings, these words are different. So it's important to pay attention that where we are using the words, which spelling has to be used where. But when it comes to learning new words, it only helps us. The more words I learn, the more easier it becomes, the more it helps me to use the words in different situations, in different settings. For example, if someone tells me to use the word tail, but I don't know the meaning of the word tail, I simply memorize the word. I simply memorize the spelling, T-A-L-E and T-A-I-L. So it's very important that I also learn the meaning. I also start using the word, and I just not only use in my English classes, I also use it while writing down in others, in my day-to-day life. So it's important that we make these new words a part of our daily conversation while talking with teachers, with our friends, so that we can improve our language skills, not just writing, but also speaking and reading. That's how we can excel in all subjects, not only language. Now, the next activity, which I'm going to introduce, is related to homophones only, because this exercise is about homophones. But what we are going to do is, similar to the poem that we did, I have selected this activity from your textbook, Marigold, and it is in Unit 6 of your textbook. What we are going to do is, we are again going to pick a right verb. We are going to pick a word for completing our sentences. But this time, we don't have a poem, we just have a few sentences. And because this activity is in your textbook, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to share a few examples from this one with you, so that you can do the rest of the activity at home, share with your teachers, share with your friends. The first sentence says, the bird sits on a, and we have two options, bow, and both are pronounced as bow. Because it's on homophone, so one thing I can be sure about is that both the spellings will, the pronunciation will be same, although the spellings are different. So the first bow, kids, I want you to recall this lesson, Nasruddin's Aim, where Nasruddin used a bow and arrow to hit his target. Now this bow refers to that equipment that, and if you must have heard of archery, there also this bow is being used, which is spelled as B-O-W. The other bow refers to the branch of a tree. And as you can see this picture, if you open up your textbooks, you'll find this picture where two birds are sitting on a branch. So this bow refers to branch. So I know that bird sits on a branch and not on a bow, which is related to related with an arrow. So the right spelling for this one would be bow, B-O-U-G-H. The squirrel has a long, and you know which tail we are going to use here. You are quite familiar now, and we discussed this example in the beginning as well. So you know which word you have to use here. But let me help you. So the squirrel has a long tail. I have to leave at, now again we have two words, to and to. But if I'm leaving, so I will tell the other person about the time I'm planning to leave at. So the right choice for this one would be TWO, that is 2 o'clock. So I have to leave at 2. So this 2 tells the time, at that time I'm planning to leave. This sum is right or right. Now I have two spellings again, and both are pronounced the same. So the spelling that I'm going to choose should fit my sentence, and it will fill my sentence only if I choose right. Why? Because this right tells me that the sum is correct. The question I did is correct. And the other right refers to the act of writing, which I can tell does not fit this sentence. The last one I have for you is, that I am going to do for you is, I can dash the bird song. Here, here. Both time I have the same, I can hear the same sound. Like you saw me using the word here. So I can hear the bird's song. So I use the spelling H-E-A-R there. And kids, this is your homework, this is your task to do at home. What you are going to do is, you are going to write different sentences using these homophone pairs, and you are already familiar with these words, so don't worry, just relax and have fun with these words and enjoy learning new things.
Thank you, Kalpana ma'am. Thank you so much for this exercise and for our students. So students, please do this exercise. This exercise will make your concept more clear and will be a revision for you. Thank you, students. But don't go anywhere. We will be coming after a short break. Keep watching PM eVidya channel.